Finally, we caught up with David-Baptiste Chirot. Although David is not a current resident of River West, he can be spotted at poetry readings and art galleries around the neighborhood. So I know you're an artist. Can you describe some of the types of art that you make?
I make rubbings and clay impression spray paintings, collages, and transfers.
Where did you get the idea to make the rubbings?
The idea just sort of came to me out of the blue. It came to me because at the time I was making a lot of paintings with found objects from the street where I'd collect them and take them home and I'd spray paint them. But the problem is when you paint the letterings and print them on paper, the letterings come out backwards. And and I wanted to I kept thinking I would like to have them read forwards, because at some point you'd like to have something that you could make sentences from, or fragments of sentences. I wanted more like fragments, not like even complete words a lot of the time. I started thinking, God, you know, you look around the world, there's all these things with lettering on them, but you couldn't spray paint them because they're public domain, you know. So out of the blue, I don't know where it came from, but something just hit me, rubbings, which I'd never done in my life, and I don't know like where it came from, but I was like right near a Utrecht store, and I ran inside, and I remember I was like so excited, I was shaking, and the man came over and he said, "Can I help you?" And I was like, I said, I want to do those things that, you know, like this. And he was looking at me like I was kind of nuts, and I said, you know, where you go, you have a piece of paper and you put it on something and you go like this. And he was showing me like charcoals and things, and I kept saying, no, 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 that's too soft, they'll wear out. And he showed me a lumber crayon. I said, that's it, that's it. And I just grabbed it and paid him, and I ran outside and I just started right away. When I thought about it later, I realized when I started doing them, I'd only ever seen somebody do them once in my life when I was a kid. I have like a dim memory of seeing like some old women do it in the cemetery where I grew up. They were part of the Historical Society, and they were making rubbings for to keep records in the town hall in the village I grew up in, because a lot of the gravestones were, you know, from like the 16 and 1700s, and they were falling apart. So to just preserve the records of the town, they were making copies before they completely fell apart, and where they were weathering. So a lot of the names and everything, the dates were just becoming completely disappearing. Even though it's like such a basic ancient technique. And the same with those paintings that I do, the clay impression things. I wanted to do paintings of the things I do, the rubbings of, but well, how would you do that? Well, one day I was walking down an alley and I found some Play-Doh, and it hit me like, duh, you know, you put the clay on the things and it makes an impression of the letterings, and they're backwards. So you just turn it over and you spray paint it and print the paper on it, and they come out, you know, forwards. Okay. It's all like very low-tech kind of material.
Well, I've seen a lot of your work and I think it's really beautiful.
It's in a gallery in Nice right now in France, and it's on the cover of the magazine that goes with the exhibition.
Oh, really? That's great.
Yeah.
And you write poetry as well, right?
Yes, I do, Kelly. Maybe I'll just read part of this. This is from a story. It's called Heroin is King, Reagan is God. Early morning in North Cambridge. Light filtering in through the faded Superman curtains. Old hardcore posters peeling on the walls. Black flag, SSD control. Broken car models, toy soldiers on a shelf. Jerking out a plastic bag, an old spoon, a Zippo lighter. Glancing up, seeing Superman staring down at him. Yeah, buddy. Here's to truth, justice, and the American way. Knock, knock, rapping on the door. The voice stopped. The record went off. Dave said words in Russian. Sounds of movement inside, as though furniture were being pushed across an uncarpeted floor, freshly painted also. A man's voice, loud and slow, an even tone. Who's there? Do I know you? You bastard! The voice boomed, echoed, ricocheted off hard, bright, fresh paint, hardwood floors. You bring nothing but trouble. Laughing, hitting a popped vein, and unfurling the fist, slowly to reach out to his bedside American flag, clutched by an old toy soldier. How about Platoon? The Deer Hunter, Who Stopped the Rain? All them war films is drug films. Yeah, that's why they call it the war on drugs. President Reagan was at a press conference. A reporter asking, what about the budget deficit? And the president smiling. I think it's big enough to take care of itself. Laughing. A James Brown song came to mind. Heard in a record store. King Heroin. Yeah. Heroin is king. And Reagan is God. As time and miles went by, the taxi driver constructed a vast system of references, a language made up of the city's geography, people's conversations, and the signs he saw everywhere. As addiction, time, miles, and signs accelerated, it became evident that an apocalyptic crash was imminent. Finally, the taxi cab driver decided he had enough evidence and could alert the authorities. He went to the FBI building at Government Center and told them a dangerous conspiracy was threatening the whole city with chaos. When asked for evidence, the cab driver gave the agents the Boston telephone directory. All the names are here.